have 30 minutes. Probably have to wait for your notes from last week. You can use whatever picture you want.
Someone's computer turned off the turn down the volume and turn on the volume. Okay, another 5 minutes. 不会打到，我自己会打。重飞给他。不知道。而且都是很严肃的那种。我给你看，你这样。差不多。他是这样。你总最好。
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys another last 5 minutes for those who cannot complete. Another last 5 minutes.
我就在场面啊。Sorry， 我还发现到，啊对。我眼睛有点打开。 哦。
So let's say this website.
这不用说了。哎，我还要说。我不写天，我写他的反应。
But that's
Okay, so we have to move on.
要不就是没错。
Okay, so those who can't get it, ask your friends. Okay, ask your friends who can get it. But I think majority, 90% can. I think the rest of you just take more time. So it's fine. Okay, so today we will continue with CSS. So if you remember what I mentioned last week, okay, HTML is for putting in content, right? So last week we have used HTML to put in content, images, paragraph, text, titles, all the information. Okay. Later also we will look at how to put in video and stuff like that. But those, it's very easy also. So we can do that later. So now we will look into changing the design of our page. Okay. So the same thing, we will go through a few HTML elements and we go through how to change the design of those elements. Okay, including fonts. So as always, please have a notebook ready or have a place you can make notes as well. And one thing maybe I forgot to emphasize last week is that your file names for your HTML file or CSS file try not to have any space. Okay. So let's say you want to use about page as an HTML file, use about dash page. Okay, don't put space. All right, and try to keep everything small as well. Okay, don't have any tabs. All right, that's the standard practice stuff. Okay, so please remember that. Okay, so same thing. I have a mirror board here, so I'm going to put in some notes as well, and you can also copy down or type into your own notebook. Okay, as always, best is you can write down as well. Okay, so basic CSS. Okay, so CSS, last week we learned about HTML. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Okay, what does cascading means? If you know a waterfall, all right, the water cascade down from a higher level to a lower level. Okay, that's the meaning of cascade. Okay, so from higher to lower or top to bottom. Okay, later it will make a bit more sense why it's called cascading.
Okay, but cascading here means top to bottom lah. Okay, so you just make the notes like this first. Later, you will make a bit more sense what it means by cascading. Okay, like waterfall. Okay, so like I said, role of CSS from last week, okay, is to control how the HTML file looks on the browser, to style design of the web page lah. Okay, so remember this is very important. Use CSS to control the design of the web page, not HTML. Okay, so means whenever you are changing the design of something or changing the design of the web page, it has to be on the CSS file, okay, not the HTML file. Okay, or not a JavaScript file. Okay, and the the CSS file extension is blah, okay, style dot blah blah. You say blah blah dot CSS. Okay. So the file name ends with .css. So as how you save a new HTML file, you save it as .html. When you create a new file that you intend it to be a CSS file, you just save it as .css. Okay. With that, the browser will automatically, or the code editor will automatically know that it's a CSS file and it's for design. Okay. So this is the overview of CSS. Okay, nothing too complicated. Important key things is you know that cascading means top to bottom. That is one keyword that you know. Okay, and the role of CSS is to control design. Okay, that is the role of CSS. So don't use anything other than CSS. Don't change the design on the web page. And the file extension, you save it as .css. Okay, usually lah. Okay, usually the file name we put it as style.css. Style. Okay, that's the usual file name. Okay, but it's not compulsory. Okay, some will name it main.css, app.css. Okay, but most commonly it's style.css. All right. Okay, so here we are going into detail as well. Okay, so like how we talked about HTML files consist of HTML tags and elements last week. Okay, but what does a CSS file consist of? Okay, so if you open up a CSS file, okay, I'm just going to show you an example. Okay, looks a bit complicated, but it will make sense. Okay, it consists of all this stuff lah. Okay, so to simplify for you, don't worry, it looks complicated, but it's not really. Okay, so CSS file is made up of CSS, what we call rule sets. Okay, so if you think about HTML, we have HTML tags, right? HTML tags, those opening, closing tag, okay, those sort of paragraph, anchor, tag. Okay. For CSS, we have rule sets. Okay, so you can think of rule set as if it's a unit. Okay, so same thing, we have many units for creating a file. Okay, so one unit is sort of one rule set lah. Okay, one group of rules that you set. Okay, so CSS rule set. Okay, so this is important. You have to remember. Okay, so how does a CSS rule set look like? Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. and you can copy down. Then I'll explain. Okay, so this is an example of a rule set. Okay, this is an example of a rule set. Give me a second. Better for me to have it as its own text box. Okay, I guess looks better like this. Okay, so this is an example of a CSS rule set. Make sure you copy it as it is. Okay, right now I have notebook. Okay, write down. Remember better, write down things. Okay. Make sure the spelling for color is COLOR because for CSS they follow American. Okay, so COLOR, not COLOUR. Okay, it's American spelling. The American spelling. Okay. All right, so we can see there are actually a structure here. Okay, and I'm going to draw out. This is one rule set lah, the one in the code, in the sort of like mono space font, right? This is the rule set. And in one rule set, there are three different components. Okay, so I'm going to label it down. I don't want this to be. Okay, so this is the first component. This one, second, and this. Okay, so if I want to make it neater, I will do this. Okay, so that you can see better. But when we code, it will not have such a wide gap lah, but just for your understanding. Right, so this one we call the selector. Okay, I will explain later what it means, but it is called the selector. Open sense. Okay, this one we call the property. This one we call the value. Okay, these are just terms that you should know because I may refer to them when I'm explaining things. Okay, so when I say, okay, what is property or what is the property, okay, you will know what I'm talking about. And these two together, we call it a declaration. Okay, these are just terms that you can sort of know lah and remember lah. Okay, so you get what I'm talking about when I'm explaining. Okay, so rule set consists of these three components. Okay.
Okay, so I give you guys 1 minute because then after that you guys will look when I explain. Okay, all right. So look here. Okay, the one here we call it the selector is to select the thing you want to change. Okay, it is important. The selector select the thing you want to change. So in this case, when we put the word body here, we mean we are selecting the body tag. Remember the body tag is after the head, right? Usually you put all your content inside the body tag, right? So if you want to change the design of that body, you will select the body. So we call this the selector. Or sometimes I will use the word target. Okay, what are you targeting? What do you want to change? Okay, so this is the selector. What do you want to change? What are you targeting? I'll use those words interchangeably, like, okay, what is the selector? What is the target? Okay, those kind of things. This one is a property. Okay, property is of that thing you want to change. What is it? Okay, so you want to change the color, you want to change the font size, you want to change the height, you want to change the width, you want to change the background. Okay, this is the property. Property means the characteristic of that thing. Okay, so my property is I always wear blue. Okay, for example, okay, or I'm wearing a shirt. Value is the thing that you want to change to. You want to change the color to red. You want to change the font size to 12. You want to change the width to 100 pixel, 200, 300 pixel. Okay, 100%. Okay, those things are value. So the thing before the semicolon, the colon is property. After is the value. Okay, and together these two we call declaration. Okay, so I would say what is the declaration for your body? What is the declaration for your paragraphs? Okay, I mean these two things. Okay, but these are just terms. Okay, when we talk in normal language, I will just say, okay lah, what you want to change? You want to change the font size, I change. Okay, so this is for your understanding and what is the components of a rule set. So there are three components: the selector, what you want to change, you target. Okay, property, what is it about the thing you want to change? The color, font size, height, width, example. Okay, and then the value, what you want to change to. Change to red, change to white, change to 12 pixel, 100 pixel. Okay. All right. So this is the basic of a rule set. All right. Okay. So now we will start to do the coding. Okay. So now you know what's a rule set. We can try it out. Okay. So what I want you guys to do again is start afresh. Okay. Start afresh to say start a new root folder. Okay. I'm changing to color so that you guys can see my stuff easily. Okay. So new folder. This is your root folder lah. Okay, every time you create a new website, you create a new root folder. Okay, so this one we'll call it week 7 root. It can be any name, up to you. Okay. Same, create your index file. Okay, so you guys should be familiar by now. You guys have done the revision earlier. Shouldn't be a problem. So file, new file, save as index.html. Okay, obviously we need the HTML file before we do any changes, right? We need to have the content first. Okay, basic structure. Make sure you have your basic structure and you can just type something in. So let's just put in hello here.
or whatever you want to put in.
Just put in a word hello.
And you will see it on your browser when you open up your index file from your Git folder. I don't know you want to use that.
Okay, so now
We move on to create our CSS file.
okay, we move on to create our CSS file.
We already have our index file. So we move on to create our CSS file. So same process, okay? Create a new file, file save as, okay? This time is style.css.
Okay, like I said, it's a CSS file. All your design will be in a CSS file.
Okay, so put in .css. Style.css is the most common name for a CSS file. Okay, so now I have two files. I'll type in my body, sorry, my rule set as what I have copied earlier, okay, or what I typed out earlier. So body, color red, font size 12 pixel.
Okay, after you typed in, go to your browser, refresh.
Make sure you save it first. Okay, go to your browser.
You might not see the color red lah. For me, I've installed some extra functionality on my computer, so I have the color red. I'm not sure if you have it. Okay, same, you say. So you say, okay, say refresh your browser. Any problem?
Any problems?
Okay. Now,
When you refresh, can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me? They are not
linked, right?
So you have created two files, right? You have created an index file and you created a style CSS file.
But to the index file, well, I don't know there is a style CSS file, right? I don't know. I just exist. You haven't told me that I have a friend, right? So you need to link them together. Okay? So how do you link them together?
Like I said, in the head is where you give information to the browser. Okay? So here, you type in the word link. Okay. It's a single tag. It doesn't have a closing. So relationship, rel style sheet, sheet. Okay. src, which for source, we learned this last week. And you connect the style.css file. Okay. So same concept as your image. You have to let the HTML file know where is the CSS file or what CSS file you want to connect. Okay. So you link this style sheet. REL means relationship. Okay, you're telling the HTML file that you have a new file. I need to link to this new file. The new file name is called CSS, style.css. All right. Now you save it. Make sure you save both files. Refresh. Wait. Sorry, that's a mistake. Style sheet. Style sheet. Second. Okay. Sorry, so it's not SRC, it's HREF. It's the same concept as your link. Okay, not image of the link. It's REF, not SRC. Okay, so save it, refresh it, and you'll see that your index file now, the font is red color and 12 pixels. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Problem raise hand. Okay, all good. All right. Now, this is for your knowledge, and this is for me to inform you. Okay, this is how you link the CSS file to your HTML. Okay, and this is the way I want you to do it. Okay, please keep in mind, this is the way I want you to do it. But there are other ways to include CSS in your HTML. Okay, you don't have to do this, but I will show you. Okay, one way is to do this. You use a style tag. Okay, and then you have your rule set here. Okay, this is one way to do, right? So like you see, I deleted my rule set from my file, my CSS file, and I put it in this style tag here. And I save, I refresh it, it will still work now. Okay, it will still work. Another way is I don't do this. This is called internal way, internal, because it's inside the HTML file. Okay. Another way is I straight go to the body tag and I type style equals to, okay, I can put color, red, font size 12. Okay, I can also do this, right? and I'll refresh and it will still work. Okay, so there are three ways. One way is this way, we call it the inline way. Inline means you type it inline. The second way is the internal way, you put it in the head, the style tag. The third way is the link, the external file. Okay, now why? Think about why I want you to do the external way instead of these two ways. Think about it, why? Sorry? It's not messy. Easy, sorry, you say? Because it's not messy, easy to edit. Okay, easy to edit is what I want, but the context is not so accurate. Okay, it's not to say because it's messy, it's easy to edit. You won't have just one HTML file. You have a lot. You have 20, 30. If one day you need to change the body color to blue, are you going to change it 30 times? Because every single time you put it here, means you have to open index HTML, about HTML, contextual, query HTML, event HTML, all sorts of HTML file, and you edit one by one. Not practical, right? Same with this technique, right? You have to find the body tag in every single file and you edit here to blue. How many times? It's not practical, right? Programmers are the laziest people in the world. They find ways to cut things. Okay, so what they do is they create this external file where I just link. Okay, I just link it to this file. However many HTML file I have is fine. I just link this. At every about head, about page, contact page, I just link to the same style sheet. And I only change one and I apply to every single HTML file. Okay, so work smart, not work hard. Obviously, there is reasons for internal and inline to exist. There are reasons for them. But like I said, the main role of CSS file is to change the design, not HTML. If you put your CSS code in the HTML file, means you're using HTML to do the design, which I don't want. Okay, when I say CSS file role is to change the design, I mean it has to be in a CSS file, not HTML file. If I see code in your HTML file, you are doing things the hard way. For what? Okay, so keep this in mind. Of course, like I said, there are reasons for why the inline and internal method exists. Okay, not to say they're completely wrong, but at this level, you don't need, just do it externally. Okay, it's faster, it's more time efficient, it's so much easier. Okay, so keep this in mind. This is the best way to link a HTML file. Okay, so same thing with our image. I want to keep my folder neat. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder called CSS folder, and I'm going to move the CSS file inside. With that, I also need to update the hypertext reference, okay, because the location has changed. Okay, so make sure you move the file to a CSS folder, update the HTML location, refresh the page, make sure it's still working. Okay, if it's not working, probably spelling wrong, folder name wrong. Okay, folder name you can't run now. You just name it CSS, right? No one's gonna name it something else. Standard practice, you just name it CSS. Okay, for images, standard practice IMG. Okay, very easy one. We just keep it to 3 letters. Okay, we're not gonna spell the full name, right? Okay, now brings back to the word cascading. Okay, this is another concept you have to know for coding CSS. What does cascading mean? Right, like I said, cascading, you can imagine like a waterfall from top to bottom. Essentially, what it means is, let's say, okay, you look first, then you can test yourself. Let's say I type body here, the rule set for body I type already. Okay. Somewhere down the road, maybe I forget. Okay. One thing you guys want to do is close your style because you changed it, right? Open it back again from that folder. Okay, if not, then you will have problems. Okay, so close your style and open it again. All right. Okay, so let's say somewhere down the road, okay, I have another body rule set. Okay. And I put the color here is green. Okay. Normally we shouldn't do this like, okay, this is just an example. But normally we don't body here and then another body here because you're wasting a lot of lines of code, right? When you have a lot of code, it takes up space, right? So we try to keep things minimal one. Okay, so if this is body and this is body, might as well I will do this. I will do this. Okay, it means the same thing. And it saves up 3 lines of code. Okay. But let's say it's like that, for example. Okay, so you have at the top, you say color red. At the bottom, you say color green. Which one will it follow? Top or the bottom one? Take a guess, it's fine. Top or bottom? Top or bottom? Some say top, some say bottom. So I'm just going to refresh and you guys see. It will follow the bottom one. Okay? So that is what it means by cascading. Okay? Top to bottom, the bottom one will always win. Okay? Remember, the bottom one will always win. The same concept as I showed you earlier. If I were just to move this here, at the top, I say I want the color red. At the bottom, I go and say I want the color green. It will always follow the bottom. Okay? So the bottom always override the top. Okay? Bottom always override the top. It's the same issue if you do this. There will be time where you have more than one CSS file. Your website gets big. You need another CSS file. So let's say this is style 2. Okay, if there is any conflict, okay, your body in style, you say color green, your body in style 2, right? Let's say you got another file, you put in style color in green, you will follow style 2 because style 2 position is below style. Understand? Okay, so the bottom one always wins. Okay, remember this, the bottom one always wins. Okay, you always override the top to the bottom. So this is just for your information. That is why it's called cascading starting. Okay, top to bottom, the bottom one always wins. Okay, so this is a key concept that you guys have to remember. All right, let's take a break. Okay, after this we will go through in detail the elements that we can change the design. Okay, so let's take a break. Maybe come back 9:35, rather. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. Yeah. Because I have this. I have also. Can you take a break? Maybe 10 minutes, come back 9:35.
can't seem to find the link you provided for the
recording.
like the Khan Academy coding.
Oh,
That one.
isn't it on
Is
the?
it somewhere that you like?
I think so, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's not linked properly. Resource on HTML.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think should this one right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Settle down. Let's continue. Background. Okay. So, like I said, we will go through a few items that you can style using CSS for HTML. Okay. Okay, to do this, all right, on Sublime Text, you want to see two things at the same time. Okay, on Sublime Text, you go to View, Layout, Columns 2. Okay, on Sublime. Okay, on Visual Studio, check. I seldom use Visual Studio, but shouldn't be too much different. Okay, so same thing. Go to View, Editor Layout, 2 columns. Okay, if you're using Visual Studio, View, Editor Layout, 2 columns. Right, then you should see two side by side. All right, so I'm just going to remove this hello. Okay. I'm gonna remove this as well lah. Okay. Right. So first thing first, background lah. Okay. How you want to change the background color of our XML document? Okay. So the background is controlled by the body. Okay. If you remember what I mentioned last week. Okay. The white part is the body. Right. The white part is the body. So everything in terms of content you put inside the body, the white part. Okay. So now obviously by default the background color is white. All right. When we want to change the background color, we can go to body, background color. Remember, spelling of color is COLOR, is American spelling. And let's change it to pink. Okay. Okay, refresh, and you'll see that your document body is now pink. Right? Now, what if you want? Okay, any problem with the background? Any problems with the spelling? Spelling correct? Okay. But what if you want an image? Right? What if you want an image of the background? Okay. So if you can go to eLearn, okay, and download, but you can also use your own image lah. Okay. But on eLearn, I have uploaded the basic CSS assets, right? You will see that there are two files. One is BG and one is BG2. Okay. So let's say I want to use this image. So all these three images, okay, I'll use three images. So BG, BG, and top, I'll just copy over to my root folder. Okay, so any file that you use for your website, make sure you copy over to your root folder. So I'm gonna put it into my image file and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay. You can download from eLearn, alright, or you can use your own image. And make sure you extract it from the downloads, copy it into your user. You can use your own image, but you don't have to waste time to find a nice one. Just example, you can do it nicely for your own assignment. Okay. Now, any problems? Make sure you copy into your root folder. If I'm going too fast, I know. Okay. Make sure you have it in your image folder, by the way. Okay, so keep your root folder organized. So by now you should have your index file, your CSS folder, image folder. All right. So to change the image of your background, or you want an image to be your background for the body, background image. Okay, URL. Okay, this is a bit interesting. Okay. So URL is the location of your image, okay? But I will need to explain this a little bit because it's slightly different from your HTML image. So I need to. Okay, so this is the declaration for background image. Okay, so the property is background def image. The value is URL, the location of the image you want to be in the background. Okay, but now it's slightly different than your index. If index, if I want to put image, I just say src image /dot.jpg. Right? This is the format. What it means is from index, okay, look first, explaining. From index, I go into image folder and I find my dot. Okay, that is what the code means. Okay, from index, this is index file. Go to image folder, find my dog. Okay, that's why the dog was here. Okay. Now, this case, you are in your CSS file. In your CSS file. Okay, so your CSS file is here. It is inside the CSS folder, right? So just imagine, again, giving you a visualization. Imagine you're in the house, right? For a living room, you can straight away go to your bedroom and you can get your handphone. Okay? But in this case, now you are in the toilet. You have to go out the living room, then only go to your room to get your phone. To get your agreement. Agreement skills, I think. I don't know. Okay? Yeah. Right? You have to get out of the toilet, go to the living room, enter the bedroom to get your phone. Same concept here. You are in your style CSS, you have to get out to the root folder, go inside the image to find the dot or whatever background file. So how to get out? Okay, you cannot just put like this. If you just put like this, image background bg.jp, right? If you just put like this, it will try and find an image folder in your star.css, which doesn't exist, right? Because you're in star, say, okay, go to image, but you cannot find image inside here. So what you need to do is you go out, get out of the toilet first. So you get out of the toilet by doing this. Dot forward slash. Okay. Dot forward slash means you go out one level. You go out one level, go to the image, get the background as your image for your document. Okay, for the background as your HTML. So now when you refresh, you see your, I mean, it's not very obvious now, but you'll see. If I use dot, maybe it's more obvious. Okay, and you see your dot. Any questions on this concept? Right? Very easy to remember. You just need to get a toilet, go living room, get your handphone. That's the concept. Okay? All right. Any problem with the background image? You can try using your own image. Okay? Now, some of you, if you use your own image, you might not notice. Okay? But you can see if I use an image that is smaller than the browser width, it will repeat. Okay, it will repeat. If I don't want it to repeat, I can just put background size cover. Okay, so it will cover the whole body. Right? But you still need to do tweaking one, right? Generally, we don't advise doing this because you can't control the monitor size. Right? So for some people, the dot might be this, but the monitor smaller, the dot might be like that. You know, so like who knows what is the monitor size of the person using? So generally, we don't do this. Okay, we don't use a huge image as a background. Yeah. Okay, generally we don't do this lah. Okay, what we can do is, like for example, the two images I give an example, right? BG2 and BG, right? Okay, maybe BG is more obvious. Okay, these are what we call like seamless background. Okay, if I were to show you here, this is what we call seamless background. So actually the image is repeating one, but you can't see it. It's like your house tile like that. The pattern matches each other so perfectly. When you tile it up, it looks like one big. Okay, but actually it's just a pattern repeating. Okay, so actually you can go on the internet and find sort of like seamless pattern for background. Right? Just think of like Peranakan house, you know, you go to kampung house, right? Maybe your grandmother's house, the tile is like marble or what. All those patterns are actually seamless. So when they put them together, it doesn't look obvious that it's actually small tiles. Same concept here. Okay? Any problems with background image? Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Go to the folder.
Okay, so next you can try out paragraph or H1, sorry. Okay, so just type in a H1 tag. This is red color. Okay, so select the H1 color red. Okay, from now onwards, fairly straightforward. Okay, for the paragraph, just follow the description that I give. Okay, just follow the description I give. Don't use permission. There's a reason later, lah. Okay, but for the paragraph, just follow the description. Right? As it is. Later that this paragraph is about this formula. Okay. Okay. Any problem? Then pretty straightforward. Okay, so we move on to link. You can just follow. I will slowly as well. Okay, so let's say I link to about.html. Obviously, we don't have an about page yet, but it's fine. Wait. This link is green. Color. Other. Okay, so do until where I am. Okay, then I will need to explain something. So all my HTML content is in the body. Remember, okay, I didn't do anything else in
also make sure in the future, because I see a few mistakes, all your content, internal content must be inside the body tag. And always remember to open and close the Okay. All right. Now, this is by default. Okay, listen for link this is by default. So when A is say color green, the link will be green. Okay, originally it's blue one, right? The link is always blue originally, but we can change the color to green by doing this. Obviously, you can change other things as well. You can change the font size, up to you. But my point here is I want to show you the hover. So means now when I move my mouse over this link, okay, when I hover over this link, I want it to have some changes in the design to change to orange color. Okay, so what I can do is, this is the first rule set for the default. If I want to change the link color when the mouse over, I do A hover, A colon hover, and I can change the design like this. Okay, and I can have like different things as well if I want to. I can change the font size, all sorts. Okay, all sorts of properties. So now when I do this, it will change the link to orange. Okay, so that is how you change the design when you mouse over something. A colon. Okay, next up we have image. So I'm just gonna put my image of my dog. So always, whatever you want to change in the HTML file, you just select it, right? You just select it. Even if you want to change the A, want to change the B, want to change the I. Okay, so for image, usually we can change the font and the height and the height or the width lah, right? So let's say I want to change the width. I want to make it bigger. Okay, so my dog is much bigger. Originally, it's not as big, but I changed the width. Okay, I can even change the height if I wish to. I will distort it quite badly, but that's possible if you want to change the height as well, but we don't really do that. Not doing this. Okay, so you can change the width and the height of it. Okay. If you remember border radius, corner radius, you can also add in. So for CSS, the curve of a box, the corner is called border radius. And similarly, you can give it a value and it will curve. Okay, so that's how you do a border radius or a corner radius in CSS. Okay. so generally, we never change the width and the height at the same time. Right? Generally, we don't have because you will switch it. And why do you need to change both? Because you change one, the browser will calculate the height for you. Okay? So if you change the width, the browser will automatically adjust the height. It will not switch the height. Okay, so what's the point? You want to calculate yourself and with height, no need. The browser will do it for you. Okay, so if you change the height, you don't change the width. You just give the height to the browser will automatically adjust the width for you. Okay, so you don't have to calculate yourself. So usually we just change either height or width. Mostly width, okay, mostly. You never change both at the same time unless for some reason it's necessary, but generally we don't. Okay? Yo. Okay, so all the while I never say anything about it, okay, but it's just extra information for you. This alt is whatever you want to. It's also accessibility lah. Means like let's say people who cannot have visual impairment, right? They use screen readers. What you call screen readers means like they cannot see, but they have a software that can read the browser and what is in the content, right? So they listen. So this all serves as a function. Okay. So when they come, they cannot see, so the browser will read, oh, okay, this is red color, da, da, da. When they come to this link, click to link group about, and then they will say dot, just like that. Okay. So it's to give a description on the image. Another reason is let's say you misspelled or your files, your image suddenly corrupted or cannot load on a browser. Let's say like now I misspelled, right? It will show the alt text there. Right. So you can just put here, this is an image of a dog. Okay, so it will show. In any case, suddenly your file is corrupted, get hacked, or whatever your browser, your file is gone, the alt text will show. Okay, so that is just extra information for you. Generally, we'll include it for accessibility purposes. Okay, so if someone who has visual impairment, they are using screen reader, they will read literally this is that there is an image of a dog. Okay, so that the person who is visually impaired know that there is an image of a dog. Right? Okay, so I'm just going to correct this. Okay, now follow along. Okay, any problems so far? Okay. All right. Any questions? Any other questions before I move on to the next stage? Okay. So for paragraph, all right. Now, just now we have a paragraph, right? Already. Let's say we have another paragraph. This paragraph is about scientists. Its font size is 3 pixel. Yes. What other colors are they? Yellow, blue, green, purple. Wait lah. Serif. Okay. So go ahead and do the body text. We have another paragraph now. Font size is 30 pixel. Color is gray. Okay. Save and refresh.
font size 30 pixels, serif typeface, color rate. Okay, you guys recognize the problem? Or everything is working fine? Or is there a problem? Color? Anyone else any problem or everything is fine? Okay. So now you can see, right, the example that I given earlier. This is like a real case lah, okay? Now you have two paragraphs, right? One paragraph is about artist, paragraph about science. The scientist one, you want it to be 30 pixel category serif typeface, right? This one I need to change it to serif as well. Font family serif. Okay. But for the artist one, you mentioned earlier, you want the font size to be 20, blue color, and sans serif. But because both are paragraphs, right? Both are paragraphs. So if you look at your file, you are targeting two paragraphs. But to the CSS file, it's the same thing. You're selecting the same thing, right? You tell me the paragraph tag, you want it to be blue here. Okay, I do blue for you. But later you tell me now you want to change the color rate, font size 30. No, I change for you. But the issue is you have two paragraphs that you want different styling. Okay, so how do we solve this? Right? We have something called class name. Okay, class name. Okay, in CSS there's something called class name. So class is really a class. Okay, so imagine we have a class of artists here, and we are this way, right? And we have another class next door, scientists, in another way, another design. Okay, so we apply class names to differentiate. How do you apply? Pay attention. Here, in the P tag, before the closing angle bracket here, okay, you can type in the word class and give it a name. Since the paragraph is about artists, I'll give it class name artist. Okay, and for the scientist one, class name scientist. Right? Now make sure your class name is meaningful. Okay. So remember, for you guys type, listen to me. Make sure your class name is meaningful. Means to say, if someone else were to read your code, or you yourself read your code 3 months later in the future, you know what that class name is targeting. Okay? It's very clear here. This paragraph is about scientists, I use the class name scientist. Paragraph about artists, I use the class name artist. So 3 months down the road, maybe my client come back to me, have some mistake, I want to look back. I will know what is the scientist, where is the paragraph, I will know what is the artist, where is the paragraph. Okay, because if you name something that is not meaningful, let's say, oh, this is my first paragraph, I name it P1, and this one I name it P2. Right, for now it makes sense for you, but in the future, you come back or someone else read your code, how do they know which one is P1 and P2? Very confusing, right? But if you name it something meaningful, scientist, or something that is related to the content, right? Let's say featured banner, you name it featured banner, class name, right? Navigation link, you name it navigation link, class name. Okay, it's very meaningful. People can straight away know what it is. If I just look at the CSS file, I see P1, right? How do I know that P1 is in about page, contact page, home page? I don't know. But if I put P scientist, then I know, oh, this is about the scientist, probably in scientist page or whatever. Okay, so it's meaningful. So this side is a HTML part. This is how you assign a class name to a paragraph. But for CSS, how do you change or how do you target? For class, it's a dot, full stop. Okay, so this is artist. for scientists or scientists. So this way you are assigning names to the paragraph. So you can have other many paragraphs that is under scientist class, like how here. All of you are in the web design class or web development class. So all of you belong to the same class. So you have many paragraphs that belong to the scientist class, many paragraphs belong to the artist class, and they will all follow the style accordingly. There will be no more clashing because you have already differentiate the two paragraphs using class name. Okay. So now your design will not clash because you have assigned to it. You can have more paragraphs. Just name them scientists or artists. They will follow each other. If you have a third type of paragraph, then you just give it a new class name. You have three paragraphs. Okay. Any questions about this concept? Okay. Remember, I make sure your class name is meaningful. I don't want to see any P1, P2. Okay. Those kind of stuff because it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what it is. Okay. But if you're naming something meaningful, then it's useful. Okay. Any problems with class names? Yeah. All right. So class is a class, right? Class you have many people in one class, or many paragraph, or many images, or many HTML elements in one class. We have another is called ID. Okay. ID is specific to one only. Okay. So ID, let's say ID is Kevin, because you can only have one Kevin, at least in this class, right? Only one Kevin. So you are specifically targeting this. Okay, so you cannot have another paragraph name which is Kevin. Okay. Okay. So for ID, only one. You very seldom use ID, but in JavaScript, maybe we use more ID. Okay. But for CSS, very seldom we use ID, but I'll just teach you as well, since in JavaScript we may be using. So ID is a hashtag. Okay. So P hashtag the ID name and your declaration. Okay. If you don't set any font family, by default it will be okay, you don't give any font family. So in this case, if you have three different class name or three different ID, right, the order doesn't matter, right, because they're all unique. Okay? But you suddenly go and put another P hashtag Kevin down there, below the original, then it will override. Okay, it will override. So always remember, bottom always override the top. If there is any clashing, like you accidentally target the same thing twice, you don't realize, you will follow the one at the bottom. Okay.
Any questions? So quiet means everyone okay. No problem. Yeah.
You see? Oh, there's no spacing. Image no font size online. Precons so we didn't put custom. But everything you made the same mistake last week, you can't remember? The same mistake you made last week. What is SC? What is SC? What is okay. All right. Yeah. Or
Okay, now I think this is the last thing, but probably the one that you guys are most excited about, fonts. Okay, so we want to do fonts, right? And like I said in the beginning, I think even on during the mood board, the lecture on the mood board, right? You can't just simply download any fonts from the online and you install computer and use it. Okay, web looks differently. It's not like print. It's not like when you print poster or publication, you can choose whatever font you want. Simply you can use and you print, you find. Okay, what you see what you get. But for web, you can't. Okay, web you must use what we call web fonts. Okay, web fonts. So how do we use web fonts? Like I said, by default, like Times New Roman, Trebuchet, Verdana, Arial, okay, those are all available already. Okay, but if you want something more special, you have to use web fonts. And like one resource I mentioned is Google Fonts. Okay, very, very straightforward now that you know how to use CSS. You just go to Google Fonts, find a font that you like, anyone. Okay, something that is very obvious lah. Okay, something that is very, very like very obvious that you can see is different from your usual font. Okay, just choose one. Okay, so I will choose Rubik Dirt lah. Okay, but again, it's up to you what you want to choose. Okay. Oh. Okay, maybe I'm not going to choose Rubik Dirt. I'm going to choose another one, but you guys can just because I want to use one example that I want to use a better example for you guys. Okay, I'm going to choose Poppin, which is one of my favorites actually. Okay. Okay. Now, obviously you would have done this when right? You would have downloaded the font. I think I've shown you, right? Like download the font, install the font to your PC, do the mobile, right? That is for you to do the design on your computer, to do the mockup on it, right? But coding is different. Okay. Now you already have to know what font weight you will use. Okay, when you code, because obviously you can choose every single one. But if you know that in your design you're not using the thin weight, you're not using thin, right? Then why do you want to include it? Because the more you include, the bigger the file size, the longer it takes to load. Okay, so when you're doing coding, right, it's always about cutting, shaving down file size because you want your software, you want your website to load as quick as possible. If you select all and you're not going to use half of that for one, you're just wasting bandwidth. Okay, so in a way you should already know. Okay, I know that I'm going to use regular, right? So I'll choose regular. I will also use italic regular. I will also use, maybe for title, I will use semi-bold and semi-bold italic, right? So you just click on the plus sign and you will see a panel appear on the right. Appear on the right. Okay. You'll see the font styles that you have chosen appear on the right. And you can only use this font style in website. Okay, but if you need more, you add more. If you need more, you add more. Okay, but if it's not necessary, you never use, you won't use black, you won't use bold, then don't add it, you're just wasting file size. Okay.
And you can see here, after you add already, you see here there is a link, something that maybe you recognize now. Right, there is this code it's starting the link. This is exactly the same as your CSS. How you link your CSS file is how you link. So this is so-called a stream from the Google server. Right, so you can look at it as, okay, I link my HTML to my CSS, I am connecting my HTML and CSS. Here, you're connecting the HTML file to the Google server. So anyone who visit your HTML file will be able to load the font. And like I said, the bottom is the most important. So always make sure that your own file is at the bottom. Other people's file always at the top. Okay? Other people's file always at the top. So just copy. You don't have to understand it, right? But you can make sense of it, but you don't really have to understand it. Just copy the link and just paste it into your HTML. Again, in between the head. Okay? So the head function is really just to provide information to the browser and the file. It's not for content. Right? So you see here we provide information about where is the font, where is our style CSS font. Okay, just copy everything. You, like I said, you don't have to understand what it means. Just copy and paste it. Okay. And you look at, yeah, copy already. And we look at CSS rule to specify families. We have here the code, the declaration that you need to put to your CSS file, right? So you just copy font family poppins. I'm just going to change all my paragraph. Okay. So here, after the H1, I'm going to just say P. No, sorry. Maybe, okay, maybe I just apply to artist. Okay. So I'm going to just put font family. Okay. You can paste it for your H1. You can paste it for your whatever, up to you. Okay. So I'm just going to do this. And when I come back to my browser, refresh my page, you will see that for my paragraph, maybe the H1 will be more clearer if I okay. But my paragraph for artist is now and by default is regular lah. Okay. If I want to change it to bold, then I will say font weight semi-bold because I didn't include bold. Same 700, 500, 600. Okay. So this is the value that you put in for semi-bold 600. Okay. Font italic. Okay, so try it out. Okay, try it out. Look at the font choice you made. Maybe, but the font choice you made, maybe they only have one thing. So you can do that. There's only one style. So you just have to use the style. Maybe the design of the font is just bold. So you just use bold. Okay, so that is how you include fonts. You. Yeah. I think you need to full screen. You see mine at the side of the panel. This is the way. Yeah. That is the way. Any problems? Okay, feel free to try including more than one font. Okay, because your website probably have more than one font. Feel free to look up another font, add it to your panel, and then copy the link again. And now you can have two fonts as well. We want to use browser. Now I see you have another font. Let's say your title is paragraph. So go ahead and please try adding more than one typeface to your family. Okay, and then maybe you change the heading or you change the paragraph. I want two different fonts. Okay, make it obvious, two different fonts. Okay, any problems? Please raise your hand. Basically, I think that's it for today. Feel free to go and explore yourself as well.
Okay. Go on. Oh,
Okay? Any problem? Okay, if no problem, that's it for today.
Here, right? No, it's what? This one will take care. Oh, where is the other one that you want to have? This one will be using local sense like form. Oh, so you want to add another one to it. Here, we will take this.
Okay, so that's it for today. Okay, so reminder, next week is mid-semester break. Yay. But not yay, because I know you guys come back, you guys will forget everything. Okay? So, but please go ahead and, I'm just gonna say it, I know it's not gonna happen, but please just go ahead and play around yourself, okay, do some revision over the semester break. Yeah, I know it's a joke, but try and keep it fresh, okay? So next class, which is after next week, okay, we will do layout already. Okay, so how you want to do layout? Using CSS. And then, then end of week 8, okay, which is the week after next, is submission for your mockup design. Okay, so basically you have only today and the next class to see me for tutorial. Okay, so if there's something you update me, you update me. If not, then whatever. Alright? Okay, so next week, semester break, week 8, you come back, we do layout, and end of the week is submission for your mockup. Okay.